As you can see, I'm repping that BMT. No matter where I go, no matter where I be.
Representing for my brother BMT.
Got my man Austin in the building. What up, bro?
What's good? Travel is life.
This how we roll. Look, I just happened to get off the elevator. Look at it. The BMT shirt on. You know, we representing all the way in Thailand, man.
This shirt is so dope, man. It shows off your guns, fits your muscles, gives you room at the bottom for the belly, and then you repping the BMT brand, man. So make sure y'all pick up that BMT shirt because it's fire. It looks good. He got them in different colors, and I'm telling y'all, man, the fit, it ain't that cheap bullshit. It's a real quality shirt, man. I love it, BMT. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for blessing me with the shirt, and I'll see you on the other side. Yeah, dude.
Go cop the new merch.
All right. What's good, family? Welcome to another show. We are live. We do have some sad news today about a brother that unfortunately lost his life in Cartagena. So I brought one of my good friends onto the show. I'm going to introduce him in a moment. He's been living in Barranquilla for a couple of years now. He's ex-law enforcement. He's going to discuss some safety things, and we're going to also break down. We're not going to show the whole entire video, but we're just going to break down the video for you guys so you can see kind of what happened and give you guys, just some safety tips on staying safe, not only in Colombia, but overseas in general. We also going to discuss the State Department's warning to American travelers worldwide about watching out for terrorist attacks on American citizens, man. So this is a very important show today, guys. I know usually we have like a lighthearted show and I give you guys information, but safety overseas is extremely important. And it's one thing to have to deal with, crimes and stuff in the States where there's a certain system in place that you're familiar with. And it's another thing to be dealing with crimes overseas. All right. I want to give a shout out to everybody that's in the room. We got Cootie in the building. What's good, my brother? Kirby Films with the first super chat of the day. Says, what up, BMT? Be safe out there in these streets. Yes, sir. Most definitely will do. Shout out to Jamin T. Judah. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, brother. Says, man, my brothers told me that the only safe places are the tourist destinations. Not necessarily, man. We actually had a pretty good show on Razor Ray's channel. Last night we discussed a lot of things. Some of you guys might be familiar if you was on that show. But when I do shows like this, I kind of give it a little time because I know everybody's kind of rushing to publish it because it is important to get that news out there. But just out of respect for the family, I try to give it a day or two before I cover such a horrific event. All right, guys. What up, Rays? We got Razor Rays in the building right now. Shout out to my dude, Razor Rays. If you're not subscribed to him, make sure to sub to my dude, Razor Rays. It was an excellent show yesterday. All right. So, guys, basically, what happened is it was a robbery in Cartagena. A lot of brothers love to go to Cartagena. And unfortunately, older gentleman by the name of Owen Stewart lost his life. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up a good friend of mine, Dre, in the building. What's good, my brother? What's good?
What's going on, brother?
Yeah, man. Sad news today, And it's funny, man, because I actually got hit with a couple of stories. Yesterday, it was a brother that was stuck in a barrio. I'll get to that. I think that's you familiar with that situation as well. Then some guys. I got a story about some guys being drugged by some guys they brought over to play cards with out here in Medellin, Colombia as well. But what do you think when you first heard about this story, brother, that happened in Cartagena?
Well, I mean, it's definitely unfortunate. And then seeing the video, it made it a little bit worse. Down here, the news doesn't do the type of censoring back home. So, we got to see it all from beginning to end, down here. And it's unfortunate that he lost his life over, being robbed, likely for that chain, but it may not have been the chain, just everything in general that he had. It may have just been a robbery in general, but he definitely was seen with the gold chain on.
Right. Exactly. So just to break down the story, guys, authorities reveal identity of the American shot during robbery in Marbella. Now, this brother has passed away at the time of this article. They didn't publish if he was still alive or not. The brother was 59-year-old Owens Gregory Stewart. There was a fight. We're going to show a little bit of the, we're not going to show the entire video, but we're going to show a little clip of it trying to break down what happened. So it said, according to the witnesses, there was a fight between the victim and the robbers outside the building where the man was staying. So right outside, he said, as the criminal tried to snatch the gold chain from the foreigner, both fell to the ground. The fight continued, and one of the assailants shot at Stewart, then fled. Now, regarding, and they say go into the regarding the victims. Yeah. Right. So yeah, very sad event, guys. We say it all the time. I don't know how many times we've had these shows about when jury. I remember I was in the park, Dre, like maybe a couple of months ago, right? And it was a brother that had like a little thin rope. And it was me and two other brothers trying to explain to him, and plus his friend that he was there with, trying to explain to him, like, yo, even that little rope would get you targeted, bro. Like,
right,
you're a foreigner. They assume that we don't wear costume jewelry. A lot of brothers do wear costume jewelry, or the stuff that's not as expensive as it looks. And we tried to warn him, and eventually he tucked it in. We like, yeah, bro, you can't wear any type of. You don't want to stand out.
Yeah, because most sometimes people get confused with the exchange rates. They go to other countries that don't use the euro, US dollar, any of the stronger currencies, and you pull up and you laugh it off because you're American. Oh, that change is $200. Just $200. Well, $200 US in the US. That $200 in another country, specifically the ones with pesos, that's more than a $200 value. What you can buy with $200 in the States, you can buy in pesos. You're going to buy more, so to speak. It's kind of like the equivalent, but it weighs more, without trying to get too complicated with the exchange rates. But I think the exchange rate right now is at least 4,000 to 1, probably a little bit more than that. I ain't looked at it recently, but that's 4 to 1. So 4 and 2, 4 times 2, that's 8. It's a lot different if you're walking around in the States with $800 worth of something than $200 worth of something.
Exactly. So we're gonna play a little bit. I'm not gonna play the whole entire thing, like Dre said before. They really don't censor it like we censor in the States. But I'm gonna play a little bit just to kind of give you guys a visual of what happened. There's no audio here, but here we go. It is the audio. All right, so as you can see, they kind of jumped on him. It's a couple of angles. So he was just standing there for quite some time. And I try to tell guys, in these countries, like anywhere in South America in general, try to do your best to keep it moving. Don't try to stay in one place at one time. I don't even when I'm, in the streets out here in Colombia, I really don't see too many people standing unless they stand for the bus or something. But for the most part, everybody's kind of walking briskly. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's just kind of head on the swivel, just walking briskly.
And around other people too. There's usually a lot more people around. A lot of the higher class neighborhoods don't have people walking around like that because those people got cars. So an area like Poblado and Medellin, it's full of extranjeros, foreigners, and we ain't drive around in no cars. We're all on foot walking around. Well, all the locals that live there are in vehicles. So when they do pull up, the people that are going to look to rob somebody, you got all these people walking around on foot. You got people walking around on side streets, wandering around on side streets, 2 a.m. That's how this stuff happens.
Exactly. So that's a little bit of the clip. As you can see, the guys jumped on them. I'm gonna kind of cut it right about
There.
here. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it right there. And it just in your opinion, what exactly did you see there?
It looks like the deceased was not aware of that there was two attackers there. It does appear that maybe, you know, when your adrenaline kicks in, you get tunnel vision. What he saw was that initial threat that did put hands on him, and that's where he went after. You know, he tried to defend himself against that initial threat and didn't process the second individual that actually had the likely revolver, it looks like, at a distance. In his hand right there on him, but the guy with the revolver didn't actually touch him. He was right there, but he didn't touch him. And the deceased, you know, defended himself and then went after the first aggressor that did take off. He separated himself from that situation because he looked like he wasn't going to be able to go, you know, toe to toe with the deceased. And the deceased went after him, but again, you didn't see that second threat back there. He didn't process that, unfortunately. And that's the person that ran up behind him and, you know, shot him in the back of the head.
Yeah, you know, because people were saying, hey, you know, don't fight back. And we always tell people, hey, man, if somebody run up on you, just give it up. Like, don't even try to fight back. Because in most cases, they're not trying to really kill you. They just want whatever. They want your phone, your cash, and whatever jewelry you have on. So, you know, don't have your jewelry, don't have your iPhone out, stuff like that. But people were saying, you know, he fought back. Because there was another angle. It was a angle from a further street cam, and he was just standing there, and it looked like they cased him a little bit. And that's another thing guys got to be aware of. When I say watch your surroundings, it looked like they passed by him a couple of times, right? From what I could tell from that particular angle. And I don't think he really saw it coming. I think he thought he saw somebody try to attack him that was smaller than him, and he hit the ground.
Just reacted.
Yeah, he just reacted. You know, I think if they would have approached it differently, I think they probably would just gave it up because the chain didn't. From what I could tell, the chain didn't look like it was like a real expensive chain like that. Like it was kind of like costume jewelry. It wasn't shiny or anything like that. So it was just real unfortunate that I don't think he even saw the guy.
Yeah, I'm wondering what time of day that was.
I believe it was like 2 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. It's around. It was like between 12 and 4 or something.
Because there's not a lot of people in the surrounding area of this video. I mean, you do see the one person drive by as soon as he hits the ground. And I know in the photo they took where he's laying in the street and all those people are around. You pretty much you see people at that time, but at the time this is going on, there's not a lot of people out there, and that's pretty common for the upper class areas and a lot of the tourist areas. There's just some places you don't have a lot of pedestrian traffic. If it's not the foreigners walking around, then there's nobody's out there. And if you can't take the clues from some of the locals, when they go inside, see, in this country, they don't really have much of a night culture. It's like all these people come and visit, and you hit, you know, the two major tourist cities that got the gringo areas, and those clubs close at 2 a.m., all that type of stuff. You know, we got Club 7 in Medellin. They close, I mean, they don't open till like 3 or 4 a.m. Everything in this country closes. People go indoors at about 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Anything out there about 9 p.m., you run into some problems depending on where you at. You better be over in an area where there's a bunch of people, because everywhere else, everybody indoors.
Facts. That's facts. And you guys, as you can see, this is the chain right here. From what I can tell, it's a basic little chain. I don't think I know it's not gold. You know, it's what do you think that is? Like metal or something like that? Copper, maybe?
Yeah, some sort of alloy, likely polished gold or something like that.
And this is not a shot or insult to the brother that passed away, but from what I could tell, it looked like what we used to buy in the mall back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like the $50-$60 jewelry from the mall, and they assume because you're American and that's the guy right there who pulled the trigger. This cat right here. So very, very unfortunate. This is the brother that passed away. You see he has the chain on right there in Cartagena. So very sad event, bro. Very sad event.
You just have to be, when you travel, of course, anywhere outside of it, hell, even inside the states as well. I know even, when I go back to Atlanta to visit, you still need to have your head on the swivel, because I definitely feel a hell of a lot more unsafe, even though I'm aware of the states and whatnot, when we grew up in Atlanta, but a lot more can happen to you back home than it does here. But then in certain things you do here and in certain areas, it's going to drastically increase your chances of something happening. Whereas back home, what you're doing may have actually been normal, and you wouldn't run into the same elevated risk doing the exact same thing back home. And here, it's like you might as well be glowing green, come rob me.
Exactly. Exactly. And we have that debate all the time. Like, it's dangerous in America as well, which is true. We definitely come from that type of culture of violence, right? Guys get robbed all the time. I've been in multiple robberies. I haven't been robbed myself, but with a Family Dollar, they came in there and robbed the Family Dollar. This is like 2-3 times they came and raided different Family Dollars. They came and robbed the grocery store on Thornton Road one time. They tried to rob the whole entire road.
That was in my area. Yeah, we used to have shootings in that parking lot every so often at that Kroger right there on Thornton Road. So it's it is what it is back home, but you can still run into some of them same problems here in certain areas moving a particular way. It's just some things here just usher in the wrong kind of attention, and what you're wearing a lot of times draws unnecessary attention to you. And just the setup of you being a tourist anyway, you come down, you go to the ATM machine because you may not want to use your card or think you can't use the card, and you go and get $300 out of what you see come out of your account is $300. Now you got all these pesos now, probably like 2 million or so pesos in your hand. That's a lot of cash. You can work an office job down here and make 2 million a month, and that's going to be enough for you to feed your family of 4. You're going to have a family of 4 with somewhere to stay with 2 million pesos. But for you, it was about $300. Now, you got all this cash on you that's worth a month's worth of pay on an office job. If you can get you an office job, you walk in the streets with all this cash on you. The phone you got is about 8-9 million pesos. So now we're talking about several months worth of a professional job pay that's in your pocket, plus the cash you got on you. It's like you are walking lick. If you look at it the exact same way, if in the States, you go to the higher income neighborhoods, and if you know that all those people that don't look like us, that if they got 15,000 cash on them, most likely between 15,000 to 20,000 cash, how many of them you think gonna get robbed on a daily back home with $15,000 cash on them every day?
That's true. Let me catch some of these comments. Shout out to my dude, Good Time Gregor in the building. He says, Columbus would tell you robberies are normal. Yes, that is true. Don't make yourself a target, and when it happens, just give them what they want and live. And that's some solid advice. If you ask a lot, I remember a girl came back from Venezuela, a friend of mine, and she got robbed like within 2 days of being back in Colombia. Because she didn't have a cell phone at the time. So, it's just not us getting robbed. It's kind of what happens. But me and you, besides the little incident I had in
when I was in Medellin,
besides that little incident,
he was about to get it. Said he was about to get it. He did not want to play that day. He didn't. He was about to get it.
Yeah, but besides that incident, we haven't had any other incidents, and we've been out here you've been out here longer than I have.
Yeah.
But we'll bring that incident in a minute. But just how have think you've avoided, incidents because you've been out here for a while? How I've avoided incidents.
The biggest thing would be, of course, a lot of us can come from backgrounds that we can say you got your street smarts and stuff like that. So a lot of that really will go a long way down here, to be very honest with you. A lot of your street smarts from back home and just our natural aggressiveness to people in your space and all that stuff, watching what's going on around you. A lot of that is what deters a large amount of them. And it's stuff that you have to be mindful of. Like you always say, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be walking around. And I'm explaining a lot of this for the tourist areas because I don't live in the tourist area. I really don't even like going around the tourist areas, to be honest.
Same here.
But outside of that, in those areas, there's just certain stuff you don't want to do because everybody that, if you're looking for a quick come up, that's the spot to go. And it's usually the nice areas. And we the only, the ones that's walking around on foot. And we gonna walk. You got the people walking down the street with this, your cell phone in your hand, trying to use your GPS, type your latest Chica or wherever on your cell phone, not paying attention. And little Jose gonna run down the street, snatch that out your hand, and keep on going, pass it off to his homeboy on the corner, and it's gone. So you need to not have, your cell phones out walking on the streets. Don't walk around with a lot of cash on you. You can use your cards down here, especially in the majority of the tourist areas. Everywhere going to take your cards, or you use something like Rappi, where you want to leave the house, have everything brought to you. Mm-hmm. But when you outside the tourist areas, completely different ball game. It's actually, in my opinion, it's a hell of a lot safer than the tourist areas. Because you're around other locals and they just don't move like that in this culture. People that rob folks ain't acceptable in this culture.
Not at all.
The nightlife and that element that, is in parquet areas, that's not an acceptable thing in this culture. That's a totally different type of Colombian. The Colombians don't even like them. Mm-hmm. So when you are in them tourist areas, you need to be mindful that the little bit of value of stuff that you may not look at as being very important to you because, it's just $200 or I'm going to send her $200. No, that's a lot of money down here in pesos. Like the value and what you can buy with that is a lot more than what you can buy with $200 US if you were in the US.
Once you really like get adjusted and realize how much food you can buy for 200,000 pesos, bro, which is $60, which is like a month worth of food.
Yeah, it's like they dudes. It's like I hear it all the time, and I get it. I get it. Before I started traveling overseas years ago, it was you kind of look at it like, how is it affecting my bank account? In USD. Oh, that I ain't take no big hit, man. Everybody went out and shoot. I only spent about $50-$60 that night. And that's all you spent was $50 or $60 US. But in pesos, you actually, if it would have been dollars, you just spent about $500. You're gonna be, most people ain't gonna be bragging about them wasting $500 on the weekend with some of these folks' salaries. So you ain't just going out just getting rid of $500 just because.
There was a robbery last month, a couple of weeks ago, right between Provenza and Pacajeres, right in that little middle.
Yeah, right in that. Yeah.
And it was apparently two cats, and one of them got away, the other one got caught. And from what I heard, they beat the guy so bad. The Colombians beat him up so bad that when the police came, he ran towards the police, and his face had already been disfigured.
Yeah, because a lot of times that is what happens is,
street justice is so real out here.
Which is why you need to be around other people more when you're walking around in public like that instead of, on these streets. You'll hear Colombians a lot of time. My girl does it all the time. We'll be walking back from the mall and she'll be like, oh, it's real solo. It's real isolated out here. I'm like, there's a couple cars passing by, but I understand what she means. It's not a steady flow of people. We're the only person and maybe one other person and a car passing by. That's usually not good surroundings that these Colombians like when they're walking around on foot.
And let's explain what happened. Well, it was in La Cententa, basically. It was about 4 in the morning. It had to be about 4 in the morning, bro.
4 in the morning, yeah.
We had a great night. My man was out here in Medellin. We had a great night, and I think we walked across the street
Yeah.
For some water or something.
Yeah, we
And,
were waiting on the Uber, no, Uber or InDriver, one of the two, and we were leaving one bar across the street. We had the car already en route, and yeah, I think we did need to go buy something across the street at the store. So the guy, once I picked up on the guy, I noticed he started watching us when we were across the street at the bar. What's up, Andre?
What's up, brother?
When we were across the street at the bar, I noticed that guy started watching us. And then you were, I think you're the one that called for the car, because I think you were looking at that's why you had your phone out, is you was looking at your phone to see where he was at. And we crossed the street. It was 4 of us. We crossed the street, and out my peripheral, I noticed little idiot behind us wiggling between the cars too. So then when we got across the street, y'all walked into the store. I stood and kind of bladed a little bit so I can see y'all out of one corner. And I noticed this dummy walk up and was kind of, holding on to the area where we were standing at. Y'all walk out. I'm still watching him the whole time. And then this nut, that's when he put he pulled his shirt up over his face. That's what he did. Ski mask, but it was something. No. Yeah. He had his shirt, and then he pulled his shirt up over his face and walked up saying, "Give me money." And I don't think you heard him at first. And then that's when I told him basically to get the hell on in Spanish, and I said it real rude in Spanish so that, he knew that I wasn't playing. And my girl looked at me like, damn, why'd you just, and then she looked at him, and I said it a second time and he didn't move. That's when we was about to have a problem. But he eventually got the clue and got his ass the hell on.
Yeah, bro. It was, I'm like, bro, you picked the wrong group of people. Out of everybody. I mean, you picked the wrong group of people.
I seen that coming, so that wouldn't have worked out too well for him for what I had on me. So
because we were grouped up, and even though I didn't have, you was paying attention. You know what I'm saying?
I watched him. I watched him cross the street with us, and it was. I'm glad it didn't turn out worse than what it did.
Because he would have got ate up by everybody. Including the people, the Colombians across.
Yeah, and it was, and now that one was different, and I think he was more of a drug addict type, because that was extremely odd. It was a lot of people around. It was a lot of people. So for him to try that in front of a store at the curb, cars going by, people walking everywhere, and he just out of nowhere throws his shirt on his face, little dude too.
Look at man.
It's like, all right, brother.
I want to welcome to the show and say happy belated birthday as well.
Thank you, brother.
That's right.
What's good, man?
Man, I'm glad that you guys emphasize so much on the fact that Colombians hate crime. I think that a lot of times people that are about to come here to travel for the first time, or they listen to the statistics with the State Department, and they think that Colombians just embrace crime as a part of life, and it is what it is. Nobody's going to do anything about it. That's not true. And you guys, I'm glad that you guys emphasize on the fact that most Colombians, even if there weren't any tourists coming down, even if nobody was visiting, they still will have street justice. They do it here in Cali, dude. The police will stand right there and just wait to drag the body off. They literally will. They will literally let the people beat the person to death, literally. And then when it's time to drag the body off, and that's why when you gave the story when the guy ran behind the police, he knew his days were done. If he had not run behind the police officers, he knew that those group of people would have put an end to him, because they're tired. They're tired of people jumping off of motorcycles, grabbing purses of mothers. They're tired of seeing dudes that these are hardworking people that are coming home from work, or they're tired of somebody running by and stealing their mirrors. Like me and Andre had to get a special case around. They'll steal your mirrors across Colombia, your rearview mirrors. Now we got a special. Oh yeah, man, they got us twice.
Damn.
Man, they will pop your rearview mirrors like pop, or in the middle of traffic. Like if it's thick traffic, they will run up to your car, pop the mirror out real quick, and keep on running, because it's like 5,000 pesos. But 5,000 pesos for 4 mirrors, a crackhead, he's doing pretty good, or the person that's addicted to whatever drug is doing pretty good. And so they'll do. But we have So they tell you to get a casing around it, and it's all like these bullet points, right? And so now if they realize if I snatch this mirror, I can't get the mirror out without breaking it. It's impossible to do it. So no use. So when they see that around the trim, they don't mess with your car. They like, oh wait, no use even wasting my time on that car because if I and so people are. My point is saying that people are tired of these petty crimes in Colombia, because if you guys really notice this for real, Colombia is really not a major crime country. You ain't finding too many people in the sense of mass deletions down here. They've got some major crimes that they're battling, some people, but really, if you just a regular everyday Colombian, ain't nobody pulling up to the side snatch you up unless they mess with little girls like that, and so they battle that part.
Then they
but just regular adult dudes, they really, a regular everyday Colombian dude walking down the street who ain't got no money, he really can you walk down the street. He ain't got to worry about somebody pulling out something in the name of road rage.
Right.
So, and that's what I mean. That's what I mean by they don't have the major crimes like. Or at least the amount of major crimes. They've got major crimes, but not the amount that we have back in the States. And so the most crimes that you and I come across are usually somebody trying to take something from somebody. And somebody might lose their life in regards to that. I know you guys have already spoken about do not wear jewelry in Colombia.
Like, how many times we got to say this stuff?
You ain't gonna get the coochie no faster than any other man would. I don't know why you want to run this, call yourself thinking you doing something or flossing. All you do is just coming down here with the latest Jordans. They don't know what that is. This Adidas country anyway.
Yeah, it's like you think you fresh and don't even realize
you are not.
You ain't like not here.
I try to emphasize, and even Aaron tries to emphasize this. Colombia is a country of grooming. Is your shirt ironed? Did you take a shower? What about your breath, your teeth? Your pants creased or ironed? Dudes that got Converse on, well, this dude got popped over a chain, dude, that he shouldn't even had on his big fat neck.
I mean, look at the chain, bro. That's just not a slight towards him, but that's costume jewelry, bro. That's costume jewelry.
And he from looking at the video that took place, he going to war over a chain. Right. He chasing these dudes down and trying to wrestle and tussle over a chain, a cheap chain that shouldn't even been here. Let's say he got it from his mama when he was 15. Mama gave it to him before she passed on. I got you. That shouldn't even made it to Colombia.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
All you do is just not listen.
They're asking if he died. Yeah, the brother died. He's dead. He's passed away, unfortunately.
Wow, that's so sad. That's so sad, and it's so uncalled for. It really
they have it right in front of his building. Apparently, I don't know if you saw the long video. It was a video.
Yeah, I saw the long one too.
And he was just standing there for a minute. So you standing stagnant right in front of the barrier. I think that's like right in the area where the barrier is close by. So people are on the way home to go to the barrio. You stand on the corner with a big gold chain, and they rolled past him maybe a couple.
Like they always do.
Yeah, they cased him a little bit, and I mean, it's
oddly enough, they're not gonna run up on I guess it may sound weird, but it makes sense to me. They're not gonna run up on people that look like us easily. Like they're gonna sit back and study you a little bit because they don't want them problems. They want to be able to run up, get something quick. They're gonna try to catch you not paying attention, and that way they can run up there, get what they got quick, and get up out of there. Like they trying to get up out of there before you react or anybody else around them react. So if you look like you alert, you're a problem. So they're less likely to choose you.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's just sad that a few hours early or a few days early, he took this photo, minding his own business. It looks like he was getting some type of massage or something, or in Cartagena, maybe about to do the volcano. I don't know what it was, but at the end of the day, to lose your life over something that it was, literally, you're gone. You got kids, grandkids, they ain't seeing granddaddy no more. You got kids or cousins, they ain't gonna see you no more. Some of you dudes don't realize you coming down to these countries, and some of the people that you deal with and the behavior patterns that you deal with. I like what DC Rob just posted in his video yesterday. He said it's amazing how if a dude does a video on the women in Cartagena or Medellin, that gets 100,000 views. He said, but the video that you really need to be watching, we might get 5, 10, maybe 15,000 views. So y'all come down here and you put yourself in neighborhoods or environments that are just not healthy. They're just not conducive for a person to be in. So at the end of the day, guys, stop. I had to talk to a brother in the restaurant last year, came down with an expensive piece of jewelry on his neck. And we walk into the sushi restaurant, me and Andrea, and I just so happened to tell, I'm like, that's a brother, sister from the States. And the sister said, could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
She told me, she said, could you talk to him about wearing gold here in Colombia? And I had a long conversation with him. I said, I'm gonna tell you the part that where you really messing up, not the gold chain. I said, when they put a hot ball in your head, they putting one in hers too. They ain't gonna just leave her purse and leave her there. I say, so if you don't give a dang about you, bruh, I got you. Let them pop you. And if you think that it can't happen, I say, this Colombia, bruh. I say, this ain't the States. This Colombia. They will lay you right there and there in front of a crowd. I say, dude, so if you get popped, I say, don't think they ain't got another in the chamber because she a witness and she got her purse. So if for you, if for her, take that chain off, put it in your pocket, and don't wear it around here no more. I say, just for her. I say, if you come back by yourself and you stupid enough to wear your little chain, like I said, I could tell it was a really expensive chain, nothing cheap, not one of those like some of those rappers been having to pay. Because he was asking me, he said, well, I really collect chains. He said, and he said, would you know where I could buy some gold down here? And I was like, that's cool. I said, but let's finish off this conversation first. And I said, brother, you are putting her life in jeopardy. I say, personally, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I say, sister, you don't mind if I say, I don't give a dang about your life. I said, because you don't give a dang about it. So it ain't my job to care about another man who don't care about himself. I say, but at least take the chain off for this woman so she don't get popped. Can you do that? And so he understood where I was coming from in regards to that. Because anytime your woman tells a total stranger, could you please tell my man, take this chain off? And I had to break it down for him. And then, he was real cool. He was really acceptable, real good couple. I mean, really.
A lot of them aren't, though, is the problem. When you try to help them, a lot of them aren't like that.
Oh,
they're
man,
not
yeah.
receptive. And I'm like, you know what, bro? Hey, you got it. We're going to see you.
I think he was receptive because, Dre, and you're right, most dudes aren't. I think the only reason he was really receptive is because his wife or his girlfriend asked me to give him the heads up.
I think, Dre, you mentioned something good because all of us pretty much grew in the inner city. You grew up in the inner city as well, right? I think some guys just forget, like they so excited to be overseas in the country, and they think like, oh, okay, I'm from the hood, I'm good, but it's a different situation out here. It really is. It's a different situation. So street march does help, but I've seen dudes, man. I saw something that was very disturbing to me couple of weeks ago, guys. I saw some bloods walking on Calle Diaz, bandanaed up, flagging, and I'm seeing her like, man, this ain't the place to do that. This ain't the place to do that, brothers. Like, don't bring that out here.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to play with the people that's about that life down here.
That's what I'm saying.
You do not want that smoke. They do not want that smoke.
The media was like, I'm looking at it, the media was just like, kind of like on some street stuff. I'm like, man, you need to.
Yeah, you do not want when they pull up on you.
Several trucks with some real monsters out here, bro.
With 50 cows. I seen when they had that one birthday party when one of them people in that life's son was a party for him, and somebody insulted somebody, and bro went to, I know you Call of Duty folks know what a saw is, squad automatic weapon. He didn't went and pulled a whole saw out his truck in front of everybody, shot that dude, knowing all them cameras out there, put that thing back up, got in his truck, and drove off. You ain't gonna see that in the States. That's not gonna happen like that.
Y'all got them like that in Medellin, man. Y'all bringing the West Coast boys down.
Man.
Then you remember,
you know what's funny though, bro? My first time in Brazil, I ran into a blood addict. Right there, we took a group picture, and I was like, "Hey, man, can y'all stop throwing up gang signs for a second, bro, so I can take my damn picture?" You know what I'm saying?
You remember when they robbed that spot in Medellin, maybe year and a half, 2 years ago? It was like maybe a day or two before my birthday in November. So I think it was last year, and they robbed that gold spot in Poblado, and a lot of people thought that maybe it was a movie being made because they had a fake cop out there blocking traffic. And bro, when them folks came out that building about 40 deep, everybody with assault rifles, and saw that one cop in the road, they just started just letting loose in the street. Now they caught half of them. You know, the police arrived within seconds of them leaving, but you're talking about almost 40 people.
That's
all at one time, all armed, because that group decided we finna go hit this gold spot today. So when they pull up on you, they pulling up.
Yeah.
It's over with.
We got 185 in the building, man. Do me a favor, hit that like button. I asked Dre earlier, Andre, on some tips on how he stays safe. Can you give us some tips on how? Because none of us have had any major incidents out here.
No,
we've been out here for quite some time. Can you just give us a rundown of how guys can stay safer in Medellin or in Colombia in general?
The one thing is your company. I'll discuss that in a moment. Second thing is what you wear. Like I got a regular everyday watch on, and sometimes let's put it like this. I know if I'm going to be walking to Chippy Mall is about 5 minutes away walking. I'm not going to wear this. No watch at all. Even though it's just a regular everyday watch, I'm not going to wear this. If I take the truck in my parking garage, now I can wear this because I'm pulling directly into Chippy Choppe's parking garage, and they got security everywhere. Like every 15 paces is secure because it's out here in Strata 5. It's almost like next to Strata 6. So I know the security. So if I'm driving, I dress a little different than if I'm walking. If I'm walking, I'm just trying to I have my backpack. I don't have too much in there. I'm just looking like a regular everyday dude. What makes me look different is how I walk, because we got that Midwest walk about us, and also my height stands out. And then many of us are us brothers. We just a little more solid size than the average Colombian black male. So I stand out, and since I know that about me, I try not, and I walk around with a head a swivel, with my head on a swivel, but I'm not walking around in fear because I know what zone I'm in. I know the area that I'm in. That's another thing. When you know what zone that you're in, a lot of times that alleviate that. I know where my back streets are because I lived in this neighborhood 4 years. So I know where the heavy traffic coming in, off and in on this street. I just go over a block over and ain't nobody coming down that street. Nobody's going down that street. And so if a bike comes down that street, I'll see it before it sees me. It's little things like that I do if I'm walking to the mall or if I'm walking to the grocery store. Number two, as I mentioned before, is let's go to number 3. Guys, you can't drink as much as you think you can all the time. A lot of times that over drinking will get you in trouble. Especially if you're a day drinker. If you're a day drinker and you're going out and about, you're really not as clear as you think that you would be. And so now you find yourself with your cell phone out, which you normally wouldn't do during the day, but you drunk and you standing on the edge. Here come the moto, snatch your cell phone, and you standing there looking crazy as a drunk. So a lot of times, guys, control your drinking habits. Or if you're going to get toe up, let it be around like you guys, be around a group of guys that kind of watch your back and watch your drinking. It's just y'all at your VIP spotting, you having a good time with your boys. But don't be over drinking around women. I'm a kid, lead shots for the ladies. We doing top shelf. Come on, ladies. And you ain't never met these ladies in your life. Now let's go back to the ladies. We'll end with the ladies. One of the things that's kept me safe, Aaron, I kid you not, is the type of women that I make sure I keep myself around. Even if I'm around a nice Maria from the hood, I'm around women that have morals. There are women that I was talking to in a group earlier today, and we got into a discussion about these guys come down and really believe that most Colombian women are out to scam them. And I say that's far from the truth. I say most Colombian women hate crime. I say there are women that are broke but will not scam a dude. There are women that are just everyday work at the pharmacy and only making $300 a month, and she getting on that bus and going back home and then taking care of her shorty and then getting back on that bus. There are women that are college students. There are women that are school teachers, ain't never had my wife and her friends. These ladies have never had a thought of scamming a dude. These women don't even get a coochie out the first night. My wife and her friends, they don't even get a coochie out the first night because they don't even want you to think that you got a party or one of those hood chicks. And a lot of even the hood chicks, the barrio chicks, have more morals than you can imagine. So don't assume because a woman lives in a broke area that, oh, she gonna automatically be a scammer. No, I put scammers in 4 categories. Or the women that get guys, and I don't want you to forget your thought because I know you want to say something, Aaron.
Do it.
But the 4 categories that I say that most tourists, not us regular everyday dudes, most tourists deal with. A, dirty pay for play. There's a difference between the good, honest, pay for play women that have never done anybody wrong. They've made their money. It's part of their hustle, whether they be in a brothel on a corner. They ain't never drugged nobody. They ain't never dropped nothing in nobody's drink. They just out here getting their money. Honest pay for play women. If you want the girlfriend experience, you can pay the extra. She'll give you that. But the dirty ones that sit back and know she wasn't going to have sex with you and get back to your spot and scam you out of money. Policia. Those are the dirty ones. So do realize there's a difference in regular pay for play and the dirty women. And regular pay for play women hate the dirty ones because they make the industry look bad. So don't think all pay for play women are bad women or going to get you. Most of them aren't out to get you. It's just the dirty ones that some of you dudes have picked that make the industry look bad. Number 2, women that are scammers, the ones that Western Union, that you doing Western Union Poppy with, the one that you'd have met online and she ain't no good. Those women that have been trained to scam dudes, you get him to come you just got to Colombia. You done got your butt into a back of a car because you about to jump into her car. She said, I got an Uber waiting for us. You ain't never been here. You jump your happy butt in the back of a car. It's 2 dudes sitting in the front, or she got another car waiting in the back. And now you gone for 4 days. Next time they see you, you butt naked and scarred up.
Happens.
Those are scammers out here, dude. You cannot give your time to scammers. That's why we always emphasize leave Tinder alone. Leave it alone. It's so because y'all just want everything to just add water. So you can just go ahead, just swipe. Leave it alone. Number 3 group of women that you're going to be meeting down here that's going to do you wrong. Beautiful bottom feeders. Women that ain't shit because they ain't got shit to lose. They ain't been to school. That's why, see, Aaron, and it's the funny part that many of us got caught up with this when we first started coming to Colombia. We thought it was cool to have women that could spend all their time with us. I'm only here for 5 days. I'm glad she can spend all her time. We ain't realized you need a woman that can't spend all her time with you.
They don't have that kind of free time.
Oh, man, the ones are the safest ones, babe. The ones that sit back and say, hey, Aaron, you come to town, I'm going to talk to my boss. I'm going to work some extra hours so I can make sure that I'm off work when you come to town. That's what you need. You don't need a woman that even before you get there, she ain't got no job. She ain't got no responsibility. She don't own no scooter. She don't own nothing. She ain't got nothing to lose. She's a beautiful bottom feeder.
Mm-hmm.
You dudes get caught up with them. And you think because she got all the time in the world to spend with you, that means she got all the time in the world to plot on you.
Inviting you back to your space. You don't know where she live at. You don't even know if that's her real name. Invite her back to your space, and like you said, it's look. You just got here. How she? Whatever. I'll let you go, Drake.
No, and especially if, and since you guys can attest to this, especially if she's really interested in you, what's one of the fastest things that most Colombian women gonna do if she's really interested in you and you've been here for about 10 days? You gonna meet that family.
Man, you might meet that family the first day.
He said family and friends.
You gonna meet friends, bro. If that woman you've been with ain't introduced you to nobody, that's just a beautiful bottom feeder, bro. That ain't her name. But you don't care because you only here for 5, 10 days, 15 days. And then
my apartment where all my stuff at.
Bruh, I always tell dudes, and you can statistically look this up. Most dudes get got either on the first 3 days of their trip here or on their last three thirsty days. So many dudes was like, man, I got man. It was my last day. I just called her. I just wanted to get one more in, dog.
And she brought a friend.
Yeah, she called a friend through. Colombian women don't share like that.
No.
Unless you like upper echelon barter party dude.
My wife walking by, she heard that.
Yeah. The last one is the party girl. So we already talked about the scammer chick. We already talked about the beautiful bottom feeder. We already talked about the professional scammer. The last female that I stay away from is a woman that's always on party mode. You could call her to come over for drinks. You could call her over for Black and Miles. You could call her over because your boy in town. You could call if a female got time to party all the time. Oh, bro, you need to let her go. And there's so many women down here, good women in Colombia, that will go out and hang out with you, spend time with you once they get off work, once they put their kid to bed, I would rather have the woman that got responsibilities and I got a peace of mind, Dre, than have a woman that can spend all her time with me and I got to keep my head on the swivel and I got to keep a camera in my Airbnb and I got to go through the extras. I got to make sure that security take her ID and all that, which is cool. But that's because I'm moving wrong in the country. It's millions of Colombian women that are not scammers. I'm going to say this again. They are not scammers. They've got morals. They might be broke and only got eggs in the refrigerator, but they refuse to rob somebody because my mama and my daddy didn't raise me like that. Secondly, these party girls, dude, I know you come down here to party, but you dudes keep getting that. Them the ones that's putting it in your drink. The party girls, because they know how we move as foreigners. They know enough English to attract us. They're beautiful enough to keep our attention. And then the girls that ain't got nothing to lose, the beautiful bottom feeders.
I'm gonna ask Andre.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna ask my wife real quick. Amor, ¿qué piensas de las chicas de los prepagos y ladrones acá en Colombia?
¿Qué pienso?
De los gentes acá.
Que son una mierda.
She said they shit.
Right.
Yeah, she said everywhere they think that somebody gonna rob you or the hose, they shit.
Yep. And that's how. And I kid you not, Aaron. It's just the people that I hang with. And even if I take time to go to the hood, it's the people in those bars or locations that I know that are people and families of morals. Nobody in that family can be broke as can be, and you guys can attest to that. This is a family. They having to get together. They got enough money for some Dominoes and some aguardientes, and they're inviting you. And the nephew ain't never robbed nobody. The grandson, granddaddy, all the nieces, the aunt, that family ain't never stole nothing from nobody, and they ain't got nothing but morals and standards. There are so many families that are down here. So when I hear dudes say most of Colombia are scammers, that is not true.
Then it's
Like,
evident what area you encountered these chicks. You
Yeah.
met them online through Tinder, or you was in the gringo trap. Them the only females you know down here. You clearly don't know what you're talking about.
I think one of you guys mentioned earlier how Colombians are upset that they had lost for years Parque Yeras, where couples can't go. Remember, I went down to Parque Yeras in 2016, 15. Couples was down there holding hands and walking, and it was romantic, and the
Like all the
plants
other
were out
parks.
there, and it was real cool, and everybody was nice. Man, fast forward, it's crackhead and drug addicted around the corner, and now you got the pay for play was everywhere in 2008. I'm like, this is not the spot that I came down here. And you know, and when I first came down, completely different. And so I love the fact that they are cleaning it up, bringing new restaurants down there since the pandemic, and making it more family friendly for those that's like, it's my birthday weekend. Come on, baby, let's go to Parque Yeras and have fun. Or it's our anniversary as a young couple. Let's go have fun. Or it's the first date. I'm getting here and I could take my woman to Parque Yeras and El Poblado and enjoy it with other couples. That's how it was, where you could just sit upside and see a couple sitting outside in the park area of Parque Yeras and just enjoying themselves with their little drink, and they just being romantic. And then it just switched the flip the switch, and all of a sudden it's a completely different place. And now I'm glad that they're transforming it back to what it was meant to be, a place where people, whether it was foreigners or locals, can really enjoy a good environment.
I want to point out something that you had mentioned earlier. I don't know if you heard. I was telling Dre about the story that some guys were at the gym. Some Americans met some Colombian guys at the gym, invited them back to their home to play cards, and the Colombian guys basically scoped them and drugged them, stole all their stuff from the apartment, stole their car as well. And that's what I was talking about. Like, apply the same rules you apply back in America. You're not going to invite random people. You don't invite random people from the gym to our house to go to America.
Ever.
So don't do it here trying to be, overtly friendly. Oh, this is, hey, yeah, come over and play some cards, guys. We get to know each other. It's like, nah, man, the same rules apply. The same rules apply.
It does. Yes, it does. And it's those little rules. And then the other part is my last one, which I try not to use with everything. I'm bougie. I'm going to say this again, dude. There's certain restaurants that I go to that I know only the upper echelon Colombians go to. I'm out here at the Medellin, got 5 golf courses. I can't wait to hit one in a couple of months. Cali, we got 3 major golf courses. I'm out there. I'm bougie. I'm out there bowling at the bowling alley with the locals. I'm sorry. I'm up there. I'm like, my birthday. My wife knew. She took me to a spot and I had caviar for the first time. I'm bougie. So I'm not drinking wine. I'm drinking wine. So I know how I am. In the environments that I go to, you ain't going to see too many people out there robbing folks. Why? Because in those Strata 6s, it's so much security that's in many of those areas. When you walk into some of those restaurants, they got 3-4 security guards just waiting out there in the name of waiter, but that's security.
My building has a team of security guards with multiple entrances, and they're armed.
Yep.
We got biometrics to get in my building.
Man, in our area here in Cali, when they had the riots a couple years ago, the political protests, all of Cali is acting the fool. Our area, military literally had us surrounded from Strata 5 to Strata 6. And if you pulled up in a car and you couldn't prove that you either worked or lived in this area, you were not getting through that barrier. You were not tearing up this side of the town. Man, it was so quiet like a church mouse over here. Everybody's reaching out to us talking about, hey, Andre, things are going bad. I say, dog, that's over there.
Yeah, over there. Yeah.
Over there. So I'm a zone 5, zone 6 dude, but it's different in Medellin because zone 5, zone 6 can be a lot more touristy for you guys as well. So you got to be a little strategic where you guys are compared to here. We don't get as many tourists, so it's a lot easier for me to recommend Airbnbs in Cali in zone 5, zone 6 over here by Chippy Chape. Everything's in walking distance, and you don't have to feel like if I'm walking, some dude will pull up on moto and get me, because a lot of people are going home to zone 3, zone 4 once they get off work, and so They just aren't. Motos aren't over here on zone 5, zone 6. Does it happen? Yeah, but it's not that often.
I want to point this comment out real quick by Chris Blue. He says, if they need all that, though, the culture of that place is just not safe. I'd rather be in a country where safety is not a big concern. What do you guys think about that?
You can go to Europe now. I've been, we get ready to head over to Europe in a couple of weeks. And bruh, it's just bad. It's just because the rate of inflation, the economy, and what happened with the pandemic, and people lost so much of their income. Dude, you go to France if you want to. And act like, well, I can drop my guard. I kid you not, it is crazy overseas now. So no matter where you go, you still gonna have to keep your head on a swivel. And then you got this the crazy part. I love when Americans have the audacity to pretend like we ain't got major crimes in our country. Like, if I go to parts of Chicago, I ain't got to keep my head on the swivel. If I go to parts of Orlando,
it's because we're so used to it. They don't even process the fact that it's abnormal, because we're so used to it. So you see certain stuff in other countries, and you don't look at what go on. Turn on any major city news any night of the week. That actually don't happen here. That kind of stuff don't happen here.
I want to catch a super chat real quick, and I want to get to this article, get you guys' opinion. Rapstar 7 with the 5 super chat, man. I really appreciate that. Says, I cannot believe it that tourists did something wrong. Only way you can get robbed is when they bump the price on you. Appreciate the super chat, but we pretty much broke it down. What he did wrong was wear jewelry, basically.
Yeah.
Now, guys, I want to point this article out. This article, people have been sharing it in a group. I want to get your opinions on this, starting with Dre. State Department advises all Americans overseas to exercise increased caution in worldwide alert. All right. Now, Dre, what do you think about this? Or is Dre the kid?
I was saying,
I know both y'all named Dre, but it's Dre the kid.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
That one would be related to my second career in life, or the experience level. This warning, you should take heed to it, and there's a recommendation in there that you register with the embassy in whatever country you're in. So you definitely want to do that type of stuff in case there is an emergency in the country that you're in. Now, this particular type of warning is in relation to that the conflict over in the Middle East currently. And how would I word it? The supporters of a particular ideology that will be directed towards you, the American, anywhere that they can find you overseas. Those particular type of groups can't just get on a plane and come across the Atlantic and do what they need to do. So you're the closest thing, either walking the street in countries where they are, or staying in large tourist areas where they can go attack Westerners, because it's not as easy to go attack Westerners.
Now, real quick, I don't mean to interrupt you, but can you tell us real quick what countries they are in?
Well, not to make it sound, it's just that the other side that is in Israel, the religious conflict that the jihadists have, that I word it that way, the jihadists across the globe. If that is something common within the country that you're going to, that is something you need to be very much so aware of. Like, you really need to be aware of that. That's why they're putting out a warning like that, because if they can attack soft Western targets, that's exactly what they're going to do. And if you're just on your vacation and just throw out random Nigeria, you staying at the hotel in the tourist area, and the group that starts with a B decides they want to go attack a Western target in that African country, they're going to go blow that hotel up, and you in it. You just trying to have a vacation. Now you just got blowed up.
Okay, so in concerns of where most passport bros go, we got Colombia, Brazil, DR, and Thailand. Do they have to worry about a situation like this?
No, the closest country that would have a problem would be Thailand, because there is a country, the country with the largest population of that group. And I'm not wording certain stuff, so I don't know what the YouTube censors are like. So that's the only reason I'm wording it, not calling out certain groups or saying it. Don't want, censorship and such for your channel. But the largest country, or the country with the largest population of that particular group of people, not all of them that way, but there's a country close to Thailand that has a fair amount of them. And if those particular groups want to start trying to find the best ways to find soft Western targets, that's when you start having these random attacks against Americans or Western areas populated with Westerners.
Okay. And Andre, what you think about this?
Basically the exact same thing that Dre is saying. It is what the article is saying as well. You have to start being a little bit more alert and aware, and just do a little bit more homework when it comes to going to certain countries. That's why because we narrowed our trip down because of some of the things that's going on. We narrowed our trip down to Madrid, Paris, and UK. And so since we've done that, that gives me the opportunity to just kind of like look at the safety factors in 3 countries and what's taking place, instead of having to worry about what's going on in all the other countries. Because right now, the way the world is set up, there are very few countries in which you can feel like I can let my hair down. It's going to always be, especially for us bald brothers, it's going to always be a safety factor that we need to look out for when we're going to these countries, because there's still also, remember, as I said before I let my other brother speak, there's also the safety factor regarding post-pandemic economic structure in most of these countries. People are struggling. We really don't. Andrew, looking at a video of the Eiffel Tower yesterday. The Eiffel Tower is so literally surrounded by homelessness now. It's literally, if you walk to it's nothing but homeless people all up and down the block. Like if you see one of those tent cities in California, in LA, it's getting like that around the Eiffel Tower, to where you thought that never happened. And then also remember, they just had the protest, and we had to remember that France just a couple months ago had a protest because they changed the age for Social Security. They raised up the age of Social Security to 64. So now they trashed the city for months. So now we had to be alert, like, okay, if we go to France, we might can't go to that part of the city, or over here to this part of the city because of. So we have to take all those things in consideration, to where in the past you didn't have to worry about certain things in certain countries. In Madrid, in Barcelona, we got to consider the pickpockets that are out there. It's the number one crime that's out there. So we've got to be alert in regards to that. So when they give this global alert, it just and after the homework that I've done, when people complain about Colombia, be prepared that it's the same swivel that you have to have your head on in many other countries as well.
I want to welcome Global Passport Crew to the building. What's good, bro?
Shout out to you, brother.
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's up, Uncle Andre?
What's up, brother?
There is a Lebanese diaspora group, about maybe 2 million Lebanese, that's down in South America.
We got that here.
They're deep in Brazil.
Yeah, the Shi'i Muslims. I don't know whether they're gonna start anything, but there is that population that's down in South America. So as far as having that exercise of caution, that is needed. First, I've been kind of busy checking on my friends, both Palestinian and Israelis, see how they're doing after this attack. Still trying to wait for the contact of one individual I have not heard from. So far, everybody's okay that I know of. But yeah, we're starting to get a lot of sympathizers doing stuff globally. So I'm glad, Andre, you're doing your due diligence as far as your vacation. And I think in the overall scheme, including going to Colombia, just outside of what's been going on with the Israeli Hamas thing, everybody needs to do research as far as going on vacation, because you guys, and I applaud, BMT and Andre and DC Born Rob and Razor Ray, they put out this information, but it just, like you said, it just seemed like everybody tend to drive more towards what's clickbait rather than what's informative. And these are the people that end up getting caught out there. And that's a shame, because these are things that, you know, we see the threat level of what's going on in Colombia. It's can reconsider traveling because of the things that's going on, but we tend to ignore it because we hear from other people. It's like, oh yeah, it's safe. Oh yeah, there's nothing going on. But we continue to hear these stories. And now that we have this thing going on, it's starting to get a lot dangerous in the world, especially for us Westerners, because we're targets. We got bullseyes on our backs. You know, even when I went to Jordan, this theft and scam going on when I went to Jordan, you know, going down to Wadi Rum, people were, you know, they leave their stuff in the trucks to go take pictures and stuff like that. Next thing you know, laptop, passports and stuff were gone. You know, these things happen. And a lot of people are not, you know, doing their due diligence and understanding that these things happen when you're on vacation and doing all these things. You know, things, you know, people do steal, people do stupid stuff, and you have to be careful of that.
Most definitely, man. I still enjoy and love living outside the states. I was on a panel yesterday. Shout out to my guy Raise, and it was a sister on there. She was just like, I don't understand, you know, why y'all like Colombia. And I'm like, man, I just love this country. I love the culture. I was telling Dre earlier, I was like, man, I go out and I have all these great days and a great life, and then I come home to all these crazy stories. And I'm just like, what are these guys doing that we're doing so differently? You see what I'm saying? Like, when we have conversations, it's never even we talking about learning Spanish, what we can invest in, what property. You know, Venezuela might be back on go. They doing deals with America again, so that might be an emerging market. We talking about business and the opportunities and stuff. And you see that you have other Americans and mostly vacationers that's moving a little differently. But I will say this, man. If you decide to become an expat and live in the country full time, or you one of those guys that can spend months overseas, you got to get informed, bro. You got to know what's going on in your city. Like Andre said, you got to know what zone you in. You got to kind of keep up similar a little bit with the politics. You got to know what's going on because, you know, things can change drastically for you overseas.
Exactly. And that's why I religiously listen to you guys, because, you know, that's what everybody should be doing, is just listening to you guys and learning. And that's why I continue to listen to you guys, because I want to visit Colombia and check it out. But to be honest with you, I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to Colombia unless I'm going with someone who's been there to help guide me. So that way I can do it on my own, you know. But
then you got so many of us that are here too also.
Yeah, you know, if I like say, you know, it's like, hey, Aaron, I'm coming over to Medellin, you know, you're gonna pick me up at the airport, please. You know, then I'll do something like that, you know. But you know, people got to be smart about it, you know, and stop thinking so much about the women, and think about, okay, we have these certain hazards we have to maneuver and make sure we don't get ourselves involved in. And you have to do these consultations. I don't care what anybody has to say. Oh, you can do the research on your own. No, you do these consultations. You have to.
All right, so we at the hour and a half mark, or almost hour and a half mark. I gotta play devil's advocate, guys. You know, I gotta play a little devil's advocate with the panel. You know, and just to reiterate some talking points that other people have and concerns of against the passport bros. I'm gonna start off with you, Andre. A lot of questions I get is, why are brothers still going to Colombia, even they know it's dangerous? Why are brothers still choosing to go to Colombia? What do you think?
I think because of the three C's: the A, coochie, B, cost of living, and the culture is just. And I could even put a fourth one in there. The country itself. Colombia is the size of Texas and California combined. So you can get to anywhere within an hour flight. The food is a lot healthier. The music is you can go to one side of the country and it doesn't remind you of anything about the other side of the country. The fact that it has snow-capped mountains and then it's got the waterfalls, beaches everywhere. I mean, it's just so much to enjoy in Colombia. Not only the love, another reason why a guy, like I said, the coochie, and I don't just mean sexually, I mean in the sense of dudes coming to a country where even the scammer women still come across as feminine. And that's how they get over dudes.
Right.
Because femininity is part of the fabric of the country. It's sewn into the country. So at the end of the day, dudes come down to even just to experience that femininity. The next one is because of location. I
I said
know
that
you want to
yesterday.
zoom to Thailand and enjoy Thailand. Some
I
of you
said that
brothers want
yesterday.
to, you see what I'm saying? Want to zoom to Africa? I got you. But when
Mhm.
you got the humongous black population in South America that holds strongly to their African roots, that you like, if I don't make it to Africa, the next best thing is definitely South America, because they definitely celebrate their African roots and African last names and African recipes, and they do African funerals and the whole thing, so you can still get that African experience and still have not had to fly all the way to the motherland to be around your brothers and sisters in South America. And I think that's another reason why people are so drawn to Colombia. And I thought said that was gonna be my last one, but this is gonna be my last one as well. We see after a couple trips here, and you guys, Dre, you guys can attest to this. We see the future of business opportunities here. We see, like, if I live, if I keep going, they're not building these condos for nothing. I see what the mayor is doing over here. I'm noticing these hospitals going up. You're like, wait a minute, let me see how I could come up with a business plan regarding doing this. And all of a sudden, doors open up because you're starting to make local connections of the type of businesses that you can do to be the middle person between people that are coming here and those that are living here. It's so many business opportunities that's coming down the turnpike. Whether you're a person that invests in stocks, you want to invest in the local Colombian or South American stock market, I'm telling you, it's just so much. And that's why guys continue to come here. I think even when they open up the doors to Brazil, I don't think Brazil, I mean not Brazil, but to Venezuela, I don't think Venezuela is going to get that type of embracing for a while that Colombia has, because people gonna still think is it gonna stay stable, or will the next president shut Venezuela down again? To whereas in Colombia, you really ain't got to worry about that. It's kind of like stabilized itself as far as its international relations.
And Dre, same question to you. What do you think? Why are brothers still coming to Colombia despite all the stories?
Like Dre said, piggybacking off of that, because those are all the valid points of the country. The culture is amazing. It's one of the main reasons why I don't frequent the gringo areas, is because there's too many foreigners that come here and are acting like we're all back home. It's like I'm there, all I hear is English. They just move in because a lot of them only here for the weekend, on vacation, and that's cool and all. But they come down, don't really care much about learning the culture. They move in the same way back home. There's a lot more culture to experience here, whether you're out here on the coast, you in the interior cities like Medellin, Bogota. There's one I left out intentionally. Then you got Cali out there. That's a totally different experience as well, culture-wise. And, I can go outside of my building across the street. I got everything within 2.5 blocks of me. Movie theater, malls. I got hospital. I got about 9 barbershops. I can get my hair braided. Everything's there. But you got corner stores where you can go, and you got people that'll just pull up in the evenings. I go down there right now. I can go down there, buy a beer, sit there. They got the salsa music playing, or some of the more music you'll hear out here on the coast. They just sitting out there chilling. Tables out there, the TV's out. It's just, and you can see that go on everywhere in the country. Or like my wife just had surgery the other day. And as soon as she got done, we get back to the house. My mama's rushing over here. Grandma's rushing over here to cook. They cleaning up the house, because she can't do it. That stuff they do normally. Like they're gonna do that
Mhm.
for another Colombian. That's not, oh, they just do that because you got money and they want the green card, all that kind of stuff. No, Jesus and the rest of them, they get that too. You know, we pull up to grandma's house on a random Sunday, unannounced. We walk in, she's greeting everybody. She's getting up. What do you guys want to drink? You want me to make some juice? You guys want coffee? Hungry? They want me to cook you guys something? It doesn't matter what day you pull up over there. That's what they do. You know, so the culture here is something to experience. No, they don't like the crime and that type of stuff. So I think that's a lot of what guys come down, especially seeing, you know, the cities with the mountains in them, like Medellin and Cali. That view and the climate. It's 70 something degrees every day all year long. You know, you outdoors, it feel good. You indoors, it feel good. Your indoors is open up to the outdoors because it's the same temperature. They like all of that. And I think that's more of why most of these guys come. The other thing would be the obvious, but those guys are just here for the weekend, and you know, it kind of matter at the end of the day, to be quite honest.
All right. Okay. Cool. And I got another question for you, Global Passport Crew. Now, some would say that the passport bros, you know, this ideology that has went massively spread all across the West is having a direct impact on like the dating scene, but also more importantly, in some cases, when men are leaving these communities, right, and taking their resources elsewhere, it's having a direct effect. And in some cases, people say, hey, man, you guys are cowards for leaving. You're not fixing your communities. You're talking about investing overseas. You're not investing on your block or something like that. Because I've been in group chats and audio rooms where they be like, all passport bros must die and all this, you know, cowards and all this. Yeah. It was an audio room
Well,
on
eventually, but not today.
right. It was an audio room on Fanbase, app called Fanbase, and they always just going in on the passport, bro. So, what do you think about that Global Passport Crew? You know, should black men remain, you know, in these black communities and try to uprise these black communities, or do you think we should be able to just kind of move around freely the way we want?
Do what you want. It's your life. You know, can't say that we're destroying communities, but yet you got, you know, people selling drugs to our own community and they're destroying it anyway. I mean, think about it. What's, you know, what's more harmful, you know? And on the note about what you gentlemen were saying about opportunities in real estate. Also, I just got a new job. I'm in cybersecurity right now. I'm a cybersecurity analyst. Now we're going to have to start looking at cybersecurity threats, and even looking at going overseas and doing cybersecurity is going to be a new thing. Bermuda just got hit real bad with a cybersecurity attack, and it took them about like maybe 2 weeks to get their stuff going back. So now you're going to have the opportunity of right now guys getting cybersecurity training, being groomed, and taking their skill sets and their experience and going over to places like Colombia to help build their infrastructure. So now you have these opportunities of, you know, these well-trained guys that's getting these top-notch training from the United States, going overseas and showcasing their skills on that particular area down in South America, because I know probably their infrastructure is not as great as probably the United States. And the United States, I can tell you, getting hammered. You know, so now you're going to see those guys wanting, because I got a lot of guys, I got to do a show on that, because I got a lot of guys been DMing me about, hey, you know, can you tell us how to get our certifications and things like that? So a lot of guys want to do that and then want to come over to places like Colombia and Thailand and, you know, other places so they can do cybersecurity over there. So that's going to be your next market that's going to be growing over there.
Excellent. Y'all see that? I don't know if you guys can see the screen.
See it. Yeah, that's crazy, brother. That is crazy.
I laugh so much at the stuff I see online about back home, and I be telling I just be laughing. So I was so
man,
glad
it's some hurt people out there, man. They
so
are mad that we are living new lives.
I love it, bro. I love it.
People ain't got nothing better to do with their lives.
Have fun when you get up and go to work in the morning.
Yeah, thank you. Come on now.
It's funny, man, because you know, as African Americans, we've been moving around. We've been moving around quite a bit. I want to play this. Let me see if I can find.
People need to be careful about posting stuff like that because the Alphabet Boys, they searching for stuff like that to prosecute.
Yeah.
I want to play this little clip real quick, man, because I know I didn't even know about this myself. I did know some about Frederick Douglass, but I didn't know this story. Let me see if I can.
Oh, Frederick Douglass went to France and a lot of other places.
So let's just see what this brother got to say. A little history minute for the fam. Can you hear it?
No.
Well,
You guys can't hear it, huh?
nope.
Let me see. If I
It's
can,
like it's real low. That's what you can hear it, but it's really low.
Okay, let me see if I can. Let's see here. Let me know if you guys can hear it now. If not, we just skip over it.
Douglas Woods visited
Can you hear it?
the Republic
Better,
to
yep.
address a group of Americans known as the Samana Americans. The president at the time, Jean-Pierre Boyer, wanted 3 African Americans to move to the island of Hispaniola. The president, along with Haitian diplomat Jonathan Granville, petitioned abolitionists and freed African Americans individually to come to the island. Over the course of a year, 6,000 freed African-American people came to the Dominican Republic. Even though some ended up leaving, a lot of them ended up staying behind. They established enclaves in Puerto Plata, Santo Domingo, and the biggest one, the freedmen's community of Samana Bay. Even though we're well over 100 years removed from the original Samana Americans, even today you'll find people with the last name Phipps, Shepherd, Green, Wilmore, all descendants of the original Samana Americans, and all adding to the beautiful fabric of what it means to be Dominican.
All right, so I just wanted to
didn't
play
know
that. Yeah, I just wanted to play that little quick clip. You know what's funny? Abraham Lincoln had brought in some black thought leaders after the war, and he said, "Hey, you're never gonna get a fair shake in America. What we'll do is we'll give you the coal industry down in Belize, or you can choose. I think it was Puerto Rico, Panama. And now." We understand that we have a lot of issues in America. It is a blessing to a certain degree. I say this all the time that Black Americans are in a very unique situation. Like we are in one of the most unique situations, Black people around the world. Coming from America, having the American dollar, being able to tap into the American financial system. And we know we have our own issues and everything like that, but that racism is ingrained into the soil of the United States, basically. So they were making little things like, hey, man, maybe if you guys want a fair shake, maybe you got to go down to Belize. So we've been moving around. We've been experimenting with moving around the Caribbean and different countries. I just want to point that out for the fan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. At one point in time, I think it was after World War I or World War II, even Russia put it out there for Americans to moved to Russia, Afro-Americans to move to Russia. And I forgot the amount of Black people that moved to Russia and became politicians, statesmen. I mean, it will amaze you how many, the most famous movie in Russia, like we had, it was during that time period where movies first came out, is an old black and white movie about a crowd of Russians saving the life of a young Black boy from racists. And I forget the name of it, man.
You know what? It was black and white movie, right?
Old black and white movie.
That's
Very
one of
famous.
the that's one that's kind of like a movie, kind of like, what's that movie everybody watch every Christmas? The black and white movie, A Wonderful Life. It's like that over there in Russia. Everybody watches it. Yeah.
Yep, and it was about how the people of Russia were able to save this little boy from this mobster that he was a racist and he wanted to attack the boy. And it's their movie. And I actually saw the interview of the little boy when he grew up, the guy when he grew up.
I seen the same video.
Yeah, because they were showing Black Russians and all these and the descendants. And one woman was like, she was a very famous like newscaster in Russia, Black lady, and she was saying that how her father was one of the descendants of those that either decide to stay and not go back to the States, and those that decided to come over from the States. And I'll never forget this in that headline. They were saying that the only thing that the Russian people were surprised about was not that black people were coming from the United States, but that not enough black people had left the United States. Like black, during the Jim Crow era, and they were like, black people are living a hellacious life in the States. They're surprised that most aren't leaving and going to other countries. They couldn't believe how that United States was really able to, were able to leave, but they didn't leave. And that comes from us being flea trained. You train a flea, you let them jump to the top of the jar, and then they so used to not being able to get out of the jar, you can take the top off of it, and fleas will not jump out of the jar. And that's us. We flea trained.
Facts. I want to give a shout out to Mr. FOH with a $9.99 super chat. I really appreciate that. He said, shout out to BMT for ignoring that clown on Razor Ray's show. I'll be in Colombia next month, man. Appreciate that.
All right.
Super chat. Appreciate that super chat, bro. Yeah, man. You gotta. We have grown men conversations. We're not, plantation broing over here. We're talking about rising up in life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody said this was in the Cold War. At that time, Russia was helping a lot of the African continent.
Wow.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I think people get confused because I saw it come in the chat. Somebody said black people don't need no help from Russia. What they were trying to do is, brothers ain't really familiar with this, is form like an expat community, saying, hey, you can come over here, have your own, form your own,
have your
own communities. And that's one of the things that really, when I started in Thailand, when I was like, damn, they got their own little enclaves of communities out here. Because Russia,
same in Israel.
Place. Yeah.
Same thing in Israel. We have our own. There's a Ethiopian community down in South Tel Aviv. All black community down there, and it's cool. I don't get any issues and stuff. Walking down there at night and stuff like that. And you even have like the whiter Jewish people that walk down there, and everybody just pretty much gets along. Really no issues and stuff. Yeah, you get your crime and stuff like that, like anywhere else. But yeah, we do have a black community down in Israel.
Do y'all think that moving overseas could possibly help, let's just say, black relationships?
The international understanding of each other, I do believe that traveling and coming and meeting our brothers and sisters face to face and learning face to face, and not just through U.S. textbooks or U.S. Propaganda about our brothers and sisters in other countries. This is helping global relations when you're seeing Austin Holloman actually conversing, or O'Shea conversing with Africans and hiring Africans. This really is helping. We really don't see it, how amazing what we're actually doing. We really don't see the political, or talk much about the political ramification or the cultural ramifications of what we're doing when it comes to coming down to South America or Central America or Africa and really getting to know our brothers and sisters. We don't see the true ramifications for those YouTubers such as Ace Live and I Am Marwar that are going into black communities that never get a camera. They never get news footage unless it's not negative news in Choco or Buenaventura. And now you got us going down to these locations and showing there are celebrations, there are good people here in these black communities as well. So the international relations that we're creating, and relationships and friendships and networks that we're creating as Passport Bros, man, I can't wait to see. I ain't gonna even lie. I can't wait to see the Passport Bro movement in 10 years with all these kids and grandkids running around, first generations, like I'm the first generation of Northern. Like my family is Tennessee, Alabama. I'm the first one that was born up in the North. To sit back and see our kids playing with each other. Like when we come visit y'all, my kids playing with your kids in Medellin, this big thing that we don't even see the 5 to 10 years down the line. And And then at that time period, there'll be so many of us that'll be fluent in Spanish. And now we're teaching our kids the African American experience while they're learning the Afro-Colombian experience. It's just so much. The land that we're going to be purchasing over the next couple of years is going to be worth so much to whereas when whites try to come down, it's going to be like, y'all too late. Y'all too late. We bought that condo over there. Y'all too late. We've opened up 5 Airbnbs. Y'all just caught on late. Y'all too late. And so it's going to be amazing in the next 10 years what's going to be taking place. Will there be still vacationers and dudes coming down and just, you know, traveling? Yeah, that's going to always be that. Dudes coming down having their fun on vacation. But for dudes of us that really take going to these countries seriously, I'm excited about the next 5 to 10 years of what's going to take place with the brothers that are in cybersecurity and other IT, how their careers are going to take off, and what we're going to see, how guys are going to be networking, developing themselves, and taking themselves to a whole nother level. That's my imagination, man. I kid you not. I look at, and I noticed this about you, Aaron. I look at the passport bro movement like Disney looked at that swampland in Orlando when everybody was looking like there was full of gators, full of snakes. You're gonna build where on what? Yeah, you can buy this pennies on a dollar. You want this land, Walt? Go ahead, pennies on a dollar. And to sit back and see where Walt did and see Disneyland. And if you lived on Orlando, Disney is actually a city inside of a city. He's got their own zip codes, not zip codes, zip codes. It's got its own bus system, school system. Disney World is humongous in Orlando. All that started because somebody saw beyond the swampland and the gators and the turtles and the snakes, and you know, and that's what I see with the passport bro movement. So when people in the States complain because all they see is swampland right now, cool. Oh, y'all just going over? Cool. If that's what y'all want to think, keep on thinking it. We ain't gonna shout you down no more. We ain't gonna try to convince y'all. We're gonna let y'all think that this is just regular, raggedy swampland. We're making a mistake. We'll come running back, so forth and so forth. And I see the Disney world that's actually being created by guys like yourself, myself, Dre, and all these other brothers. It's just amazing. All of us that have on this panel, we have YouTube channels that are building blocks for what's going on. I know I sound like I'm rambling a little bit, but I'm really excited
you make some good points,
for the future of where this is going. I really see the vision of it. I really do. And it's just going to be so, like I said, when I see the kids start running around, that's what's going to really be blowing dudes away. When you see the kids, and then I'll tell you something else. Just when I start seeing more guys with driver's licenses, when I see more of you guys like, you know what, I've been here for 4 years. I mean, I got about $15,000 sent to the side. Let me go and get my driver's license, man, and get that out of the way. And
Dre, you pointed out something so good. Uber sent me a message today. It said I had 295 Uber trips, like since I've been back in Colombia. I'm like, I gotta get my license or something. 295.
My boy just got his. He said, man, I've been watching you drive around.
I'm on that paperwork route too, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still gonna let them drive me. I don't like how they drive. I don't even want to get used to this.
You know what? You will get used to it. It's so easy.
I don't think I got the patience for it.
I didn't think I would. I would say the first 4 months, I'm giving the finger to everybody. I'm yelling out the windows. But you know what? After a while, it becomes second nature. You don't feel like, he cut in front of me. You realize you see the car, he put his blinkers on, slide back, Dre. Let the man go and slide on through, live his life, and then you go ahead and move back up.
Yeah, I figure I'm gonna do like how they do out on the coast, man. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take everything. I guess I just have
I kid you not. But you just get to the point where I won't even lie to you. I can see parts of Colombia that other people can't.
Right.
I can drive to Salento and go to the last Christmas celebration in Colombia is on January 6th. It is the weekend of a Three Kings Day. There's a giant concert. I didn't know this. A giant concert, free, is like 2,000-3,000 people. Amazing fun. But if you ain't got a car to get to Salento, that's where all the giant palms. For all you guys wondering what I'm talking about, when you see those photos of the giant palm trees in Colombia, that's that area. That's that small town. And so to be able to experience going over there, enjoying the palm trees, and there's a lot more. When you see the palm trees, they don't show you all the other stuff that's around there. It's a whole theme park. I didn't even know it was that. And then you go and enjoy this free concert, which is the last celebration for Christmas. We could do that because we have a vehicle. Now I've seen 22 waterfalls because we have a vehicle. I've been to the hot water springs because we have a vehicle. So even if you guys say, I don't feel comfortable driving in the city, cool. You don't have to drive in the city because the freeways are just open freeways like in the States. And there are no potholes on the freeways. And so that, I think that was the thing that if you want to go glamping, like me and Andrea do, we just left the Pineapple region out here at the top of the mountains here in Cali, Colombia. And we were like, you know what, let's go, let's get us a glamping site. And so we went to a glamping site, man, where you slide the whole wall, just slides. And now you got this whole open concept for your bedroom. I kid you not. And it's only like $40, $50, maybe $80 to enjoy 2 days at a glamp site in the Pineapple region just because we have a vehicle. So I'm excited for all the guys that are thinking when they get here eventually. Like I said, I was here maybe 3-4 years before I got a driver's license, but to eventually get a driver's license just to go out and see other parts of Colombia that you hadn't seen or you won't see unless you got a car.
Good point. I want to catch this comment by my man G Mac real quick. He says, I disagree. I'm very well traveled. It is not Black Americans' job to educate the diaspora that we are brothers and sisters. It's them who fail to make the connection. Now, I can say it is some truth to that. I've been in, Thailand and Cambodia, and I've ran up to my African brothers, like, because I said this on an earlier stream. When I was in Cambodia, we naturally look for another Black person. That's just in our DNA. When we see like, damn, is there any other Black people up in here? Let me do my little Black check. Oh, there go a brother. You get excited, brother, to him like, hey, my brother. He just kind of look at you like, yeah. So it's some truth to that. What you guys think about it?
I can,
because I have heard, and it's not to say to my African brothers, shout out to all my African brothers, but I've heard that some of the African brothers be hating on the bros out there in America. I mean in Africa. I'm sorry.
I can say that, but let me ask you this: have you experienced that in Brazil among your African brothers, or in Colombia among your African brothers?
I have experienced it in Brazil.
Wow!
I was in a bad incident in Brazil. A bad incident with some German flight attendants, where the German flight attendant, she basically said, she actually looked right at her homegirl. She said, "Hey, do you want to go with the American guys? They speak English. Or do you want to go with the Brazilian guys? They got a 6-pack." Right? And the girl, the German girl, chose to the guys, us, because we spoke English. So I just let you know how much language is important. They chose the language, being able to communicate over the Brazilian dudes with the muscles. And they had a fit. The Brazilian dudes followed us. It was bad, man. It was bad. So yeah, wow. It's true.
Because
I want to give a shout out to the street. I got you, Dre. I'm gonna give a shout out to Steel Keys with the $4.99 super chat. He says gratuity. Appreciate that, my bro. Go ahead, Dre.
Do you think? And this is a question for all of us who've traveled. Do you think that? Because I've heard this too many times, that American men, even Black men, we don't understand the plight of poverty. Well, you're American, so you don't understand what it's like to be broke. Like, we don't understand what it's like to we don't know what a version of being poor is. Like, their version of poor needs to be put on a pedestal here in Colombia or in parts of Africa. Like they need an award-winning poverty because we truly didn't know what it was like to be broke with the lights out. See, y'all had lights to go out. We didn't have lights. We had candles. That's how they try to make you feel like because you're an American, you never had broke days. And I've run across that a couple times that people have said to me, like, we'll be in conversation about, yeah, I know y'all don't know hard times in America. You don't know what broken impoverishment is like it hears. This is a third world country. It's like, wait a minute. If you broke in a first world country, you still broke. You can't afford to go into that first world grocery store today. And say they don't understand that. So have you guys run across that? Since you've been here in some of the countries that people kind of like just brush off your knowledge of what it is to grow up in the hood compared to their version of grow up in the barrio?
I got that more so from like a Colombian American or Dominican American who, pretty much was raised in America but was born in South America or in the Caribbean. And my thing is, struggling is struggling, but it is some truth to that to a certain degree because I've been in the barrios in the DR and Colombia and the biggest difference is our government requires building standards. Most of us can have access to food, so there are some certain differences that I will agree with.
Okay, Dre.
Well, I usually leave my comments reserved for that experience because most of my experience in that continent was for work and it wasn't around the most.
You talking about Africa, right, Dre?
Yeah, at least on that continent. So my experience there, I don't have a lot of positive things to say there.
That it? Drake cut it simple. I don't. Okay.
Well,
yeah, brothers and sisters. It's just
well, obviously in the United States, when you're dealing with the Caribbeans and some of the Africans that come here, yeah, you deal with that. But when I was in Israel, I didn't really have that interaction, that conversation. There were two girls that I was in school with. Both of them both of them were cousins, and they were from well-to-do families in Africa. They were both, I think both of their they were in the politics in Africa, in Uganda. And both of them came out well. One was working for the Ugandan mission, and the other one was working for Goldman Sachs. And so they did their mass layoff, and she's working somewhere else doing financial stuff. So, but the ones that I usually interact with, they're Israeli citizens, so they're pretty much taken care of and stuff like that. But we never really gotten those conversations. Everything's just been, they just don't really see that differential, to be honest with you.
I think it's a generational thing too, because my grandparents' poverty was a whole lot different than, when I grew up and we just didn't have that much money. That's a big difference. Grandparents, before, I think social services came in, what about the 60s, Dre? Maybe like the 60s, 70s. So my grandparents born in the 30s and 40s, they didn't have that. So that was a different type of poverty down there in Birmingham, Alabama, and all that. Deep South Georgia, where you had to pretty much go to the lake, go fishing yourself, grow your own food. I don't even consider that necessarily poverty, but it's just a different makeup, different mindset.
I think an easy way that some people that haven't been can look at it is at the end of the day, one thing you have to realize is that you're not African. Imagine that. You are not African. You're just black, and you're a black American. You need to remember that part at the end of the day. So we are brothers and sisters in appearance, but we American when it comes down to it. They are not going to be looking out for you like we brothers and sisters, like how we call each other that across the states. That is not a thing.
100% facts, man. When I was in Thailand, And I was, just asking, the Thai girls questions about different Asians and everything. It was like, nah, we don't rock with them. We don't rock with them. I'm like, damn, I'm thinking all Asians are Asians. But I
Same thing with
realized,
the
I'm
Latin
like,
community.
Black
Yeah.
Americans are the only ones that have this mindset of, oh, he looks like me, so that's me. It's
Yeah,
another,
yes, yeah. What up, bro?
yeah,
You know, we
what,
family.
man?
Yeah, nah,
Bro. You will
no.
find out, and that's the only issue I have with some of the pro-black movements or the pro-blacks that go over to Africa and they end up getting scammed and coming back to America. It's like, bro, why don't y'all tell the truth? Why don't y'all tell them that you got shook down in the airport in Nigeria? Because passport bros get a lot of slack for not going and reinvesting in Africa, and some of us do, but we get so much pressure. Why y'all in Colombia? Why y'all doing this? Why you doing that? I'm like, bro, we Black American. We really don't got no friends. All right, we are our own unique group. We are our own, and I'm not trying to
Yeah, because it's not everybody.
Yeah,
It's
I'm not
just
trying
enough
to
for it to be a real thing.
I'm not a separatist at all. I love all my brothers. I'm just giving you the reality of the world. You will find out when you're traveling. If you got a dashiki on, you think you're about to pull up in Ghana, like, hey, bro, I'm back, y'all. I'm back.
Halloween.
They're gonna point you right to the tourist area. There you go, over there. Go look at that
Right.
slave castle. There you go. Take some pictures. Give me $100. I mean, that's the reality.
Aaron said, "Go point right over to the slave castle. Let's take some pictures."
Take some pictures, bro.
Yeah.
Shit. I remember when I used to walk around with my
That is funny.
I used to walk around with my African medallion and everything, and my grandma be like, "Why you got that on?" I'm like, "Cause I'm African." She was like, "Well, you ain't no damn African." I'm like, "Well, you know what I'm saying?" Like,
yeah, it's and like I said, it's not everybody, and I know that in a lot of the tourist areas, people have fun and all that good stuff. So that's not the what's being implied. It's just you need to understand that when you leave U.S. soil, you are an American. People see you as an American. Most of the time, they actually might not think you're the American. They're gonna, if you're not in Africa, they're gonna assume you're African until you tell them you're an American.
mm-hmm. That's the first question an Asian woman would ask you is where you from? Off real, they asking you that.
Wow.
Man. Well, family, it's been a good show. I know guys got stuff to do, man. It was a great show. But once again, I just want to remind you guys to be safe and rest in peace to the brother Owen Stewart. A very sad situation, guys. I pray for his family and everything like that. So rest in power to that brother. It's unfortunate, guys. Listen to the guys on the panel. I mean, I don't know how many times we got to stress and say this. I've done maybe 10 shows. I know, Dre, you've done several shows. Hey, man, don't wear jewelry in South America, period. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts, guys, before we go?
You said mine.
Thanks.
Guys, I would listen to these gentlemen out here. Listen to them, listen to their shows, because they're trying to save you. That's the best way I can say it. I listen to them religiously, and when I decide to go, definitely going to take what they're saying in wholehearted and plan my trip accordingly. Do your research of where you're going. Know what section of town is what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
The STEP program, that's one of the big things I push on my channel. It's a free enrollment, so you'll be in contact with the U.S. Embassy when you get over there. It's free. Just go to the Department of State website. I do that every time I go on my travels. Pay attention to what's going on in the news. If you ain't paying attention, if you want to know, these guys' channel, DC Born Rob, Razor Ray, they always putting stuff out, what's going on in Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
Just pay attention to them, or just Google the local news and that where you're going. But pay attention, be safe, and like you said, don't wear jewelry, don't wear anything fancy. Dress like a bum, because you're still gonna get the ladies' attention no matter what you're wearing.
Facts. All right. Once again, great show, family. We out. Peace.
Oh yeah.
Peace.